This is a fabulous sort of tropical style garden. I really love it, but it's out the back of a terrace and it's fairly small, and one of the things that is awesome when you've got a small garden is an outdoor mirror. Great in any garden, but fabulous in a small garden. And we're thinking, we've pulled this frog out, but behind that pond there, it'd be great to have a mirror. So that's what we're going to do, is install an outdoor mirror on the fence there. Now we're very lucky, that's a fairly new fence, it's well constructed. What we're going to do is put a backing board on that, then the mirror, then we'll put the little frogs back where they go in the spot there. This will be a lot of fun. A couple of little tips, I suppose, first. It's really important, when you put a mirror in, say you're a 6 foot tall person, if you're thinking 1.86, whatever it is, you only need a 3 foot mirror to see all of yourself, and the key thing is it's from about the top of your head down to your waist. Now we're getting a slightly bigger mirror than that, but what I'm getting at is it's the top, well, whatever it is, 100 millimetres or so, that determines whether you can see something, because the light is reflected to your eye at a 45-degree angle and so on down. So the mirror has to be high. I don't know whether that makes sense. Did that make sense? Did you understand that?
Yes.
He understood that. So in other words, mirrors have got to be high rather than low is the bottom line. So we're going to put a mirror, it'll be pretty close to the top here. And I think it's going to work all right. The great news is that these days the mirrors are a bit better. You can get a laminate on the back of it. A few other bits and pieces which we'll show you, and they guarantee it about 5 years outdoor, but you'd expect at least 12 years outdoor before the mirror starts to suffer. So the first thing is we're going to do some measurements here. You'll notice the fence is actually not level, not meant to be, so we're going to fix some heights at the top. Now this is marine ply which has been undercoated, and the idea now is we're going to screw it to the fence. Notice we're doing it on the nail line because that's where the rail is at the back. As you can see, the back of the mirror is laminated to protect it, which is great, but we're still going to put a bead of silicone all the way around it. But before we put it on the frame, because you can't really get at the bottom, we'll do the bead here first before it goes into the little clips. Now, what we're going to do, next step is the mirror goes on the backing board. Before we do that, we're putting some construction adhesive on this, and it's going to have to be fairly thick. The fantastic thing about these clips, that the two bottom ones are rigid, but the top ones are mounted on a sliding plate with a spring. And you mount the whole thing down 3 millimetres from the actual height you need for the mirror. And then you put the mirror in the bottom 2 clips and you just push it in gently, spring the top clips up and over the top of the mirror. The job is locked in place. How good's that? It's a beautiful little invention, this. Some genius invented that. Looking at this mirror, I just realised all over again what a fine specimen of humanity I am. You should all get a mirror. You'll love looking at yourself. We're approaching the good bit now. This is about the second last major stage. Now this frame is really only an illusion. It's not of any structure or anything else. It's just there to look reasonably pretty. Well, I'm rather pleased with the result. Outdoor mirror, you can now see the back of the frogs, which I think is fantastic. You get a really good look at them. As you walk through the garden now, you get reflections of all the wonderful foliage and all the rest of it. Guaranteed for 5 years, should last 12 or more, and that was a pretty simple job to do. Just do remember that the actual picture frame of it isn't doing anything at all, just a few screws in there and a couple of bits of texture colour on the top of the screws so you don't notice them too much. But that's fun. You ought to think about doing that. That's a simple enough job, and wasn't dirt cheap, but wasn't that expensive either.